The latest, Trump takes a jab at Time magazine. Palm Beach, Fla. The latest on President Donald Trump. All times local. 6 p.m. President Donald Trump says he turned down an interview and photo shoot for Time magazine's Person of the Year issue. In a Friday evening tweet, Trump says the magazine informed him he was probably going to be granted the title for the second year in a row. He tweets, "I said probably is no good and took a pass." Trump frequently brags about his cover appearances in the iconic magazine. He has falsely claimed to hold the record of cover appearances, and was revealed earlier this year to have displayed fake issues of Time at several of his private golf clubs. A spokesperson for Time did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Friday evening, the magazine will unveil its Person of the Year on December 6, 5 p.m. President Donald Trump is offering his condolences to Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi following the heinous attack on worshippers in Egypt's North Sinai province Friday. Trump spoke with el-Sisi by phone from his club in Palm Beach, Florida. The White House says that Trump condemned the attack in the call and reiterated that the United States will continue to stand with Egypt in the face of terrorism. The White House adds that the international community cannot tolerate barbaric terrorist groups and must strengthen its efforts to defeat terrorism and extremism in all its forms. Trump earlier on Twitter had used the attack as an opportunity to reaffirm his support for a wall on the U.S. border with Mexico and to restrict people from several Muslim-majority countries from entering the U.S. 4:25 p.m. President Donald Trump is denouncing the deadly mosque attack in Egypt and asserting that the world must crush terrorists by military means. He's also pushing his travel ban, which is tied up in courts. At least 235 people were killed when Islamic militants attacked a crowded mosque during prayers in the Sinai Peninsula. Trump tweeted, "Need the wall, need the ban." He added, "God bless the people of Egypt." At his Florida resort for a long Thanksgiving weekend, Trump spoke by phone with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan about bringing peace to the Middle East. A Turkish official says Trump agreed the U.S. would no longer arm Syrian Kurdish fighters, a claim not verified by the White House. 2 p.m. President Donald Trump says he will be calling his Egyptian counterpart in a short while to discuss Friday's tragic terrorist attack. With so much loss of life, at least 235 people were killed Friday when militants attacked a crowded mosque during prayers in the Sinai Peninsula, setting off explosives and spraying worshippers with gunfire. Trump says in a tweet after departing one of his golf clubs in Florida that, "We have to get tougher and smarter than ever before, and we will." He adds, "Need the wall, need the ban. God bless the people of Egypt." Trump appears to be referring to his promises to build a border wall along the southern U.S. border with Mexico and his efforts to bar people from certain Muslim-majority countries from coming to the U.S. 11:10 a.m. President Donald Trump is denouncing what he's calling the horrible and cowardly terrorist attack on innocent and defenseless worshippers sick in Egypt. Militants attacked a crowded mosque during Friday prayers in the Sinai Peninsula, setting off explosives, spraying worshippers with gunfire and killing at least 200 people in the deadliest ever attack on Egyptian civilians by Islamic extremists. Trump says on Twitter, "The world cannot tolerate terrorism and that we must defeat them militarily and discredit the extremist ideology that forms the basis of their existence." Trump's tweet came as he was playing golf at one of his Florida courses with Tiger Woods and Dustin Johnson. 10:30 a.m. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu says U.S. President Donald Trump has told his Turkish counterpart that the United States will no longer supply arms to Syrian Kurdish fighters. Cavusoglu said Trump relayed his decision during a telephone conversation between the Turkish and U.S. leaders on Friday. Cavusoglu was present in Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's office during the telephone call. Turkey considers the Kurdish Syrian fighters, known by the initials YPG, to be terrorists because of their affiliation to outlawed Kurdish rebels in Turkey. A U.S. decision to arm the fighters soured relations between the two NATO allies. Cavusoglu said, "Mr. Trump clearly stated that he had given clear instructions and that the YPG won't be given arms and that this nonsense should have ended a long time ago." 9:40 a.m. Turkey's president says he discussed the Syrian crisis and other regional issues within a phone call Friday with President Donald Trump. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's office said the two leaders also discussed ties between Turkey and the United States during their telephone conversation on Friday. Their discussion comes days after Erdogan attended a trilateral meeting with the Russian and Iranian leaders in Sochi, Russia, to promote a peaceful settlement in Syria. Relations between NATO allies Turkey and the United States have soured over a number of issues, including U.S. support to Syrian Kurdish fighters which Ankara considers to be terrorists because of their links to outlawed Kurdish rebels in Turkey. Earlier, Trump tweeted that he'd be speaking with Erdogan about bringing peace to the mess that I inherited in the Middle East. 7:30 a.m. President Donald Trump says he'll be speaking with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Friday about bringing peace to the mess that I inherited in the Middle East. Trump railed during his campaign about the ongoing conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq, but has boasted about progress in recent months under his watch. Trump says in a tweet that he'll get it all done, but what a mistake, in lives and dollars to be there in the first place. It's unclear exactly which countries he's referring to, but Trump has cited $6 trillion in the past to assess U.S. spending on conflicts in the Middle East. Fact-checkers have found that number to be only partially accurate since it falls on the high end of analysts' estimates and includes future medical care and disability benefits and nation-building costs. 7:17 a.m. President Donald Trump will be playing golf with Tiger Woods at Trump's course in Jupiter, Florida, Friday. Trump says in a tweet that top-rated golfer Dustin Johnson also will take part. With 79 PGA Tour victories and 14 major titles, both rank number 2 all-time. He has not competed professionally since February because of a back injury and is not expected to return this year. His last win was in August 2013. Trump says after golf, he'll return to his private Mar-a-Lago club for talks on bringing even more jobs and companies back to the USA. 6:50 a.m. He's not letting it go. President Donald Trump is continuing to rail against football players who kneel during the national anthem to protest racism and police brutality. Trump asks his followers in a Black Friday tweet, "Can you believe that the disrespect for our country, our flag, our anthem continues without penalty to the players?" He's accusing NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell of having lost control of what he called a hemorrhaging league where players are the boss. Trump's tweet was in response to one from a social media chief, Dan Scavino. Scavino had shared a Breitbart News story about New York Giants player Olivier Vernon taking the knee during the anthem on Thanksgiving ahead of a game against the Redskins. The website is run by Trump's former chief strategist,